Top 73 Neil Armstrong quotes. This is one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind. Research is creating new knowledge. Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Geologists have a saying, rocks remember. I didn't feel like a giant. I felt very, very small. Shoot for the stars, but if you happen to miss, shoot for the moon instead. Mystery creates wonder, and wonder is the basis of man's desire to understand. The Eagle has landed. Ever since I was a little boy, I dreamed I would do something important in aviation. It suddenly struck me that that tiny pea, pretty and blue, was the Earth. I put up my thumb and shut one eye, and my thumb blotted out the planet Earth. I didn't feel like a giant. I felt very, very small. It's a great thing for a man to walk on the moon. But it's a greater thing for God to walk on the earth. I am, and ever will be, a White Sox, pocket protector, nerdy engineer, born under the second law of thermodynamics, steeped in steam tables, in love with free body diagrams, transformed by Laplace and propelled by compressible flow. You've got to expect things are going to go wrong. And we always need to prepare ourselves for handling the unexpected. How we use the knowledge we gain determines our progress on Earth, in space, or on the moon. Your library is a storehouse for mind and spirit. Use it well. Here men from the planet Earth first set foot upon the moon. July 1969 AD. We came in peace for all mankind. Man must understand his universe in order to understand his destiny. Fear is not an unknown emotion to us. I hope you become comfortable with the use of logic without being deceived into concluding that logic will inevitably lead you to the correct conclusion. Start at the end and work back. Good luck, Mr. Gorski. The important achievement of Apollo was demonstrating that humanity is not forever chained to this planet, and our visions go rather further than that, and our opportunities are unlimited. I guess we all like to be recognized not for one piece of fireworks, but for the ledger of our daily work. It never hurts to have friends around, so that's why you'd form a crew. History will remember the 20th century for two technological developments: atomic energy and space flight. Gliders, sailplanes, they're wonderful flying machines. It's the closest you can come to being a bird. We had hundreds of thousands of people all dedicated to doing the perfect job, and I think they did about as well as anyone could ever have expected. No matter when you had been to this spot before, 1,000 years ago or 100,000 years ago, or if you came back to it 1,000,000 years from now, you would see some different things each time, but the scene would be generally the same. I thought the attractions of being an astronaut were actually not so much the moon, but flying in a completely new medium. People love conspiracy theories. I can honestly say, and it's a big surprise to me, that I have never had a dream about being on the moon. Every flying machine has its own unique characteristics, some good, some not so good. Pilots naturally fly the craft in such a manner as to take advantage of its good characteristics, and avoid the areas where it is not so good. The one thing I regret was that my work required an enormous amount of my time, and a lot of travel. I am, and ever will be, a White Sox, pocket protector, nerdy engineer. I was elated, ecstatic, and extremely surprised that we were successful. I believe that the message of Apollo 11 was that in the spirit of Apollo, a free and open spirit, you can attack a very difficult goal and achieve it, if you can all agree and work together to achieve that goal. In flying, the probability of survival is inversely proportional to the angle of arrival. It's a brilliant surface in that sunlight. The horizon seems quite close to you because the curvature is so much more pronounced than here on Earth. It's an interesting place to be. I recommend it. Well, I think we tried very hard not to be overconfident, because when you get overconfident, that's when something snaps up and bites you. Now and then I miss the excitement about being in the cockpit of an airplane and doing new things. Damn, I really did it. I blew the first words on the moon, didn't I? I think if there was anything I learned from our skipper was that it's not how you look, it's how you perform. When you DJ a party, a good DJ's job is to take care of the crowd. If people want to hear Britney Spears, that's what you're supposed to do. The regret on our side is, they used to say years ago, we are reading about you in science class. Now they say, we are reading about you in history class. Science has not yet mastered prophecy. We predict too much for the next year and yet far too little for the next 10. I believe that the good Lord gave us a finite number of heartbeats, and I'm damned if I'm going to use up mine running up and down a street. Society's future will depend on a continuous improvement program for the human character. And what will that future bring? I do not know, but it will be exciting. This blowing dust became increasingly thicker. It was very much like landing in a fast-moving ground fog. All in all, for someone who was immersed in, fascinated by, and dedicated to flight, I was disappointed by the wrinkle in history that had brought me along one generation late. I had missed all the great times and adventures in flight. Lindsay Lohan isn't a DJ, but because of her celebrity power she can do a gig somewhere, put her name on a flyer, and she'll probably bring in more people and make more money than I ever will. It's a strange, eerie sensation to fly a lunar landing trajectory, not difficult, but somewhat complex and unforgiving. Opportunities will be available to you that you cannot imagine. In much of society, research means to investigate something you do not know or understand. As a boy, because I was born and raised in Ohio, about 60 miles north of Dayton, the legends of the Wrights have been in my memories as long as I can remember. Yeah, I wasn't chosen to be first. I was just chosen to command that flight. Circumstance put me in that particular role. That wasn't planned by anyone. Pilots take no special joy in walking. Pilots like flying. I put up my thumb and it blotted out the planet Earth. There are people I'll always love to listen to, and I'm always ending up discovering new songs by them, which is crazy. Like Stevie Wonder. If that's there, I believe that technology will probably step up to their part of it. Technology makes good DJs better, but also allows your average person to think they're a DJ, and unfortunately there's no checks and balances about people making it a career. Hey, we missed the whole thing. I fully expected that, by the end of the century, we would have achieved substantially more than we actually did. He did it alone. We had a cast of 1 million. I tell you, we're going to be busy for a minute. Figure out how to build a brand and stick by it so people know what to expect. It's different, but it's very pretty out here. I suppose they are going to make a big deal of all this. I'm one of the more positive cats, but when people go off about everybody wanting to be a DJ, I don't doubt them either. I understand their point as well. There are 2 of them up here. I guess because DJing has become my job, I tend to listen to really horrible stuff on my spare time. If you heard my iPod, you'd be like, what the hell? I am comfortable with my level of public discourse. A picture does a great job, but it's not nearly like being there.